10,000 years ago, a major revolution occurred. Suddenly, there was an abundance of food. Man went from hunter-gatherer to farmer. But in one area, we are still hunter-gatherers, in the area of energy. We still gather wood, oil, coal, and gas. Our hunting grounds now cover vast areas. The whole world has been combed in our quest for energy. Even our feeding grounds are no longer safe. But the hunt causes problems, huge problems. Climate change, health issues, shortages. The price is high in all respects. We are happy when the oil price drops, although we know that it's bound to increase in the end to ever higher levels. Fossil fuels have become a source of speculation, and speculators want to earn money. That's the bottom line. Fossil fuels mean power, and supplies may be forthcoming or cut off at will, which could lead to war. Fortunately, the search for gas and oil seems to be losing ground to a new revolution: the large-scale harvesting of sunshine.
I don't think anybody's understanding how big this is or how big this could be.
I think it's going to become one of the largest growing, fastest growing industry sectors in India.
One of the real things challenged about the industry is we have to quit thinking small, we have to think big.
And I see this spilling to our neighboring countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, all of them.
The solution for solar is not to think about, you know, a few panels here, a few panels here. It's a field full of panels of arrays.
We've taken our revenues from about $10 million in 2004 to projections of about $1.4 billion this year. So extremely rapid growth, tripling for the last 2 years.
The world has changed, and so has solar. Solar is cost-effective today.
I don't think the average person on the street really could fathom how big this industry could be. I mean, it's a gigawatt industry in the next 5 years.
My advice to all governments, to all companies, including to conventional power companies, don't make new large investments for conventional energies. It will become stranded investments in the next decade.
One country has started harvesting sunshine with a vengeance. The air is now cleaner, renewable energy is cheaper, and fossil fuel dependence has decreased. People driving through southern Germany will see farmhouses with solar panels everywhere they look. Even hills are completely covered in solar panels. Quietly and cleanly, these solar power plants generate electricity. Klaus Gierlecke builds these solar power plants. He's been involved in installing solar panels ever since the 1990s, but in recent years his company has experienced explosive growth.
The 90s were really hard, and we did a lot in Spain and southern countries, a lot of off-grid systems for small houses somewhere in the desert or things like that. Nowadays, we are mainly focused on big free-field systems, on-grid systems like what you see here. And the company grows. Now we are 120 persons, and every year we are looking for 100 new persons at the moment. So we grow a lot.
Solar energy is a booming business. It's Germany's fastest growing industrial sector. In recent years, the German governments subsidized the production of solar electricity supplied to the grid. Suppliers are paid twice as much for solar electricity than they are for conventional electricity. This helps to finance the construction of solar power plants. A fund is set up and shares are issued. That means the harvesting of both sunshine and money.
That's one of the main reasons. In former times, 15 years ago, the main reason for doing PV systems was well, idealism, the wish to change the energy sector. Nowadays, we're talking about earning money. So the fund makes roughly 6%. This is what we promise in the prospectus. And in the end, the result is roughly 7–8%. For 1,000 euros, you make a profit of 6%, and you buy a machine that makes you for the next 20 years the current you need. So you make your green current for the next 20 years just by investing in the right machine. You don't have to give away the 1,000 euro, it's just an investment. So the question is, do you bring it to the bank or do you pay it into such a solar fund?
Germany's huge lead in the area of solar energy is due to the introduction of a so-called feed-in tariff law. This law obliges electricity companies to buy energy from all kinds of renewable energy sources. The price of the renewable energy is guaranteed for the next 20 years and is paid for by a monthly tax of approximately €1 on ordinary electricity. Making Germany a solar economy was the fantasy of just one man. At the end of the 1980s, socialist politician Hermann Scheer decided to focus his efforts on solar energy and wrote 2 books on the subject. He steered the tariff law and the subsidy measures through the German parliament, but had to fight all sorts of energy scenarios along the way.
We have 3 kinds of energy scenarios. One, to play down the role of solar energy by scientists who are on the payroll of the power companies or who think in their categories, in their paradigm. Second, more ambitious scenarios who show, let's say, 50% renewable energies contributions up to, let's say, 2050. And many scientists have not enough courage. They don't want to leave too far the mainstream of the debate, because immediately when they go beyond these limits, they will become denounced as being not serious. And that means they don't have the courage to do that. And there are others, this is the third category, and such scenarios exist since 30 years, who show 100% renewable energy solution, 100% for all energy needs. And these are the only adequate scenarios, because it is very easy to show that all energy needs can be met by renewable energies, all energy needs. It's very simple to show it. To speak about limited potential is ridiculous. It has nothing to do with science, only with methodology.
A frequently heard myth about the use of solar energy is that it takes up space, a lot of space. But that's actually not true. An area the size of France would be big enough. Calculations show that with the help of current technology, an area covering 300,000 square kilometers in the Sahara is enough to meet man's total annual energy consumption. From a global perspective, this is quite a modest-sized area.
We need technologies to harvest it and to convert